The views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
It's Thursday, the 16th day of October, 2025. Welcome to Bermuda's Daily Talk Show. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House, Linda's, People's Pharmacy, and a big shout out to HSBC Bermuda for ensuring that we can pump through the radio airwaves on Hot 107.5 with these most important community conversations. I'm Jamal Hartman. She's Mia Chambray, and Maya Palacio will be with us in a bit to bring you the latest in the news break. Mia, how goes it?
Hey, morning, Jamal. Good morning, everyone who's tuning in, both online and on the radio. I absolutely love listening to you guys on the radio when I'm driving to school on the school run. Turn it on. Gunner's Gunner's my little boy's like, oh, Jamal's on the radio. And then yesterday we were like, Teray's on the radio.
Oh yeah, Teray made her return, folks. She made her return, all right.
She sure did.
Right into that. For anyone who tunes in on the radio, I don't want you all to feel excluded. So please, if you
God bless you. God bless you, Jamal.
Mia, you return and I'm allergic to you. I don't know.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, folks who tune into the radio, the survey, our annual survey, is now live. So thank you to everyone. I mean, you all came out of the blocks. But if you haven't filled out the survey, the Daily Hours annual survey, please go on our website. And I just got an email yesterday to say what the prizes are. So let me just let me find that email. I think it's a bunch of prizes. So wow, why have you given a sorry, I'm sounding like self. A two-night stay with Off-Grid RV Bermuda. We've got a 30-minute stretch therapy session with Sephora. We've got a Bermuda trivia set valued at $300, and we've got various gift cards from our amazing partners. So that's like 25 to Windows or 50 to Peoples and stuff like that. So we are giving away a lot of stuff this year, just for you filling out our survey. So again, unless you win a lot and don't care about winning, but honestly, it costs you nothing. Fill it out just once. We really do use this information to find ways to improve this conversation. Last year, we took your feedback and we got more community-based with our partners like PALS and SCARS and KBB. So we do listen to what you have to say, because at the end of the day, without you, Jamal and Mia are not here this morning doing this. Maya's doesn't have a news break to give. So again, your feedback is crucial to our development and us, doing what we do and getting better at doing it. I'm sure you don't want Jamal and Mia here next year. I'm totally messing it up. We have a author on this morning. He would say it's Mia and I, or Mia and Jamal. Yeah. Next person first. So my lack of formalities this morning, but you get me, folks. Fill out the survey if you haven't already. And we've got Suzanne Ingham says, it's a super awesome Thursday, Jamal and Mia and Maya. The Daily Hour is here and I am back. I have missed you for 2 very long days. I am back. God bless you, Jamal. Mia isn't close enough to you for that sneeze.
That's right. Tell him, Suzanne.
I missed you the last 2 days and I was worried. I was about to send you an email to make sure you were okay. You're a part of our life. So we're happy that, you're here with us this morning. And she says, I did the survey Do I? No, you can't do it twice. You're only supposed to do it once. You're only supposed to do it once.
I love Suzanne.
Nicole Walker says, good morning, Mia. I did try your cupcake sandwich yesterday. It was Val. Kind of reminded me of a layer cake. Oh, Mia, look what you started.
Thank you, Nicole. Nicole, you're my spirit cupcake queen. That's right. I love it. So funny. I had that day. I had a cupcake at Gunner's skateboarding, and I was, telling the kids about the cupcake sandwich. So everyone's getting involved with cupcake sandwiches. Jamal, have you tried it yet?
I haven't. I'm gonna try it, Mia. I'm gonna do it just for you, so I could tell you all about my cupcake sandwich.
It's great. It's a good one. Thanks, Nicole. That was awesome to hear.
Greetings, everyone, and thanks for making us part of your daily routine. A good one today, as we welcome Bermudian author Walker Zupp, and we're going to be discussing his novel Morocconomics. I haven't had the chance to read it yet, but from some excerpts it seems like something that will take you on a spin. The novel. What's your favorite novel, real quickly, Mia? What's your favorite one?
Oh my gosh, that's really hard to ask me, Jamal. Right now, I'm really in deep with like Wimpy Kid and Roald Dahl. Roald Dahl's, I think, probably one of my favorite authors. So like his whole collection, and I really love like To Kill a Mockingbird. I really love Alchemist. There's just books that I read.
Don't judge me, but Alchemist is like, man, that the Alchemist was probably my favorite. I read it in graduate school. I repurchased. Well, I'm lying. Someone gave me, because I lost the copy. I shouldn't have said that, because the person that bought it for me watches the show. But anyway, I lost the first copy I got in graduate school that I read, and someone repurchased it for me last year, knowing that I lost it. But that is my favorite of all time. But all right, folks, the Daily Play is a name that plays today, and I did not choose the question because Mia's here, but I think we would be disappointed if she doesn't get this one.
Oh, no pressure, Jamal. No pressure.
Oh yeah, she's gonna get this, and I think she might break out in song. But the Daily Play is the name that plays. Don't forget to subscribe on our website. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community, folks. We've got to jump into the conversation. Let's just put the question out there, and I think the last 2 days, Teray and Mia fell into topics that they just love. When I say love, they live and breathe these things. Like yesterday, absentee voting, it was really not the plan. I don't know when these guys are going to be there necessarily all the time. So it just so happened that this one was lining up for today. What are your thoughts on the government replacing municipal elections with appointed municipal boards for Hamilton and St. George? And should the government leave the corporations as are? Do you believe should government leave the corporations as they are? What are your thoughts on that? Now, some of you may not know what's going on, right? Okay. So let's share with you some background of what's going on. So basically, the Privy Council dismissed the appeal by the Corporation of Hamilton, which effectively cleared the way for reforms that would end municipal elections, right? That's electing the mayor and councillors and things of that nature in both Hamilton and St. George. And they'll turn them into appointment-based bodies rather than elected local governments. So the corporation basically had argued that the Municipalities Reform Act would amount to taking property without compensation and stifling political expression. The Privy Council found that the corporation's property and rights must operate under the powers granted by statute, and the regulatory measures in the public interest do not necessarily take property. Under the 2019 Municipalities Reform Act, the minister would have authority to appoint the mitors and half of the councillors, while other councillors might be appointed via a selection committee. This change essentially ends local elections for municipal governance. Now, the government says it will proceed with reforms in a manner that is modern, transparent, and equitable, and intends to engage with corporations in constructive dialogue to honor legacy. Critics argue that democratically democratic accountability, responsiveness, and the principle of taxation without representation are undermined by removing the electoral function of municipalities. So that's the background. That's the background. And with that background, people have had various opinions about this over the years. But audience, the question is very simple. Just a yes or no. Should government leave the corporations as they are? Yes or no? Based on what you know, should the government leave things as they are? Just a yes or no from you, audience. It's a tough one for me. Teo, Maya, and I were discussing this the other day. And I think,
I agree.
Yeah, you think they should leave things as they are, Mia?
That's a tough one for me as well, because I think there could be so many improvements in regards to. So for many of you who are listening or tuning in on any of the social media or YouTube platforms, I'm a business owner in Hamilton. Myself and my mom own a little boutique called Cassine. So we've been there. It'll be 4 years in November. And this year I had the great experience of running to be a city councilor. So I actually participated in this electoral moment where I ran against Michael Branco, also another owner of a business in Hamilton. He's also a building owner in Hamilton. And I, at the last moment, heard about the election. I had sat in on a couple of the meetings. They allow the public to come and sit in on the meetings for a short time every week or every month when the council meets at City Hall. You can come in, you can present, you can listen to what's going on in the city of Hamilton. So I had gone to a couple of those and heard there was an election. So the day before, you had to, put your name forward. I put my name forward, and then a week later, I was involved in an election. I have to say, Jamal, and to those of you who are listening, it was one of the most scary and exciting and wonderful experiences I've had in 2025. And I think actually in my life, because I've never done something like that. And I think it was a great opportunity as a business owner for Hamilton to be able to put my hat in the ring and say, hey, you know what? I'm not really 100% in love with what's happening with Hamilton, and I'd love to be part of the process. So I would love, I don't think that they should take away the electoral side of the city of Hamilton for the corporation. I think it was a great experience and allows people, different types of people, to be in the room and to have their voices heard.
So you believe they should leave as things as they are. Okay. And I think Sean Smith agrees with you. Yep.
Yeah.
We've got Nicole Walker agrees with you. We've got Suzanne Ingham says, leave those corporations as they are. Government has me right to poke their nose in their business, has no right, I believe. We've got Kenton Trott says, no, the city, like the rest of the island, belongs to the people of Bermuda, not just the business owners, property owners. I feel the same about St. George and Dockyard. And then we've got Renee Simmons. I'm not sure at this point, but leaning towards no. Go ahead, Mia. Sorry.
So actually, Kenton, that's a great point, because so many people who do not own businesses in Hamilton or own property in Hamilton, they were so bummed out when they heard about the election because, Jamal, some people didn't even know we had a mayor in Hamilton or that there was an electoral process, or, I learned a lot this year about it myself. And so many people who came into the shop or that I spoke to or I saw, they're like, I wish I could have voted for you. I wish I could have voted for you. So I don't think that that's a terrible idea to cast the net wider and have it to be, people who can actually just vote, who maybe aren't business owners or aren't building owners in Hamilton. I think that's a great point. And a lot of people really did want to vote and actually were invested in what I was doing. So I think that's actually a great point.
Yeah. And folks, this is your daily discussion brought to you by our friends at Titan, Express, and Secure. WKD Lama says the corporation has a history of mismanagement. Look at Paulaville Park. Well, I don't think that the corporation having a history of mismanagement going into government makes things any better. I mean, look at the way you all scream government corruption all the time, whether that's true or not. I mean, the government hasn't necessarily been the best bearers of the public's money in recent years. So, I mean, while I understand the point, I definitely understand the point. Going from dirty hands to dirty hands, not saying that they're both dirty, but if that's the point you're making, going from one set of dirty hands to another set of dirty hands isn't necessarily That's just change for the sake of change. It's not change for the sake of doing things better, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I agree. And, I think also there's a lot of change that could be made in Hamilton, and getting people in the room who, so let's be honest, it's not just about business owner. It's also people who live in the city of Hamilton. There's also electorate councillors who represent the residents of the city of Hamilton as well. So if you're a elected councillor for the city of Hamilton, either resident or business, you're really, really invested in the city, and you really want to do what's best for the city itself, both the residents and, of course, the business owners. So yeah, like you don't want to go out of the frying pan into the fire, Jamal. I totally agree with you. So I think it's kind of a catch-22.
Yeah,
really.
It's an interesting situation. I think Teo actually when Maya and I were talking, this conversation has been going on since he was a senator, and we're talking over 13, 14 years ago, right? So it's not a new conversation, but the bill did pass in 2019. I think then there was a stay in the Senate. Then the court is going through the courts. I don't want to say I don't have a dog in this fight, because we all do. I mean, these are more funds that the government's going to have access to. Let's just call it what it is.
Yes, exactly.
How differently will things be run? How differently will things go? I feel like people don't know enough to ask questions, or care enough, or think enough about it, because they're like, well, it's a corporation. It doesn't impact my life. Well, if parking went from what it is to double that price in the city, and you work in the city, then it does kind of impact you.
It does.
Things change very quickly. So I hope that people are asking questions about this. What does it mean for them? Because I would hate for anyone to think that this will just impact business owners and the mayor and those who work for the corporation. I would hate to think that they only think it impacts those who are voters in the city.
Yeah, absolutely. It does impact us all, because the city is the heartbeat of the island. So many, it does impact us all. What happens in the city impacts us all. And I don't think the Corporation of Hamilton is perfect. I think they're doing a decent job. I think they could do a better job. And I think that comes with people putting their hat in the ring, and, through an electoral process, and having different voices and different ideas in the room. And Jamal, one thing that I thought was interesting when I went and I put myself forward to be, by the way, I lost, just so everybody knows, but it was a great experience. I lost. It was a great experience. So I absolutely loved it. I'm going to do it again. If I have the opportunity, I'll 100% do it again. One thing I thought was really, really interesting is that so many people didn't know that there was an elected body for the city of Hamilton, that there was that there were elected councillors. So I think that the city of Hamilton could do a lot better job of raising the awareness of actually the inner workings of the Corporation of Hamilton and what it does and why it benefits us all. So that's some feedback that I have.
Yeah, I would think they would take the education of the public a bit more serious, especially if they feel their existence is being threatened right now.
Yes.
But let's go to the audience. Again, audience, we're asking you this morning, we're speaking about the City of Hamilton and Corporation of St. George's and Corporation of Hamilton. What are your thoughts on the government replacing municipal elections with appointed municipal boards for Hamilton and St. George? And should government leave the corporations as they are? Charles H. Jeffs II says, as someone who is a proponent of government efficiency, I, like many others, have a hard time looking at this beyond the government of the day. I get that, Charles. Michael Daniels says, I think that St. George is open to the possible changes. Okay. And Suzanne says, Mia, I think you'd make a great mayor. Go for it when it comes up again. Okay. She said, not councilor. She said mayor.
Mia for mayor. That's it.
I like that. Mia for mayor. I love that. Folks, your daily discussion brought to you by our friends at Titan Express and Secure. Again, just yes or no, if you haven't already. Should government leave the corporations as they are? Do you believe the government should leave the corporations as they are? And do you have any additional thoughts on replacing municipal elections with municipal appointments? I mean, just yesterday, the audience was talking about we should have elected senators, not appointed senators. And now we're talking about having elected municipal officials, not elected, not appointed.
Yeah.
Not elected. That's going further. You know, I mean, when you think about it, that's taken away from the democratic process, right? So I don't know. I think I get why it makes sense in such a small country to do something like it. But I also do believe that by removing elections, it does weaken accountability and distances decision makers from constituents. You know?
Yes, really.
Yeah, it's an interesting situation. And I think it's something that the general public needs to have their eyes wide open on this. I'd say people need to be wide awake and paying close attention to what's going on here.
Absolutely. And if anybody has any ideas, I'd be happy if you want to come into the shop and talk to me. I'd love to hear your ideas of what you think should be done. And I'd like to also say that the current elected councilors for the city of Hamilton are doing a great job, and they really care about Hamilton. And I know a lot of them, and they're wonderful. And I think that taking away, as you said, the electoral process, if we did then have government appointed, like what would be, what would they have? Sorry, what would be their resume? What would be like the different types of things that they would have to do? What would be the standard? How would that all work out? Do you know what I mean? Would it be a friends and family situation? Like, what would it be?
Those are questions that need to be answered. Charles H. Jefferson II, he says, what will be interesting to see is what structure the government puts in place. Will there be an appointed board of friends and family, which I think Mia was just saying, who have no real ties to the city, stakeholders only? And Sean Smith's asking, why is government adding more to their plate? Well, folks, that's your daily discussion brought to you by our friends at Titan Express and Secure. Let's show them some love. Then we'll bring Maya Palacio in for Daily Hour News Break. Don't forget, we've got Bermudian author Walker Zupp coming up. We're going to be talking about his novel, Morocconomics. I love the title. All right.
The daily discussion is brought to you by Titan Express and Secure. Visit TitanEXBDA.com, your leading tour and transport provider specializing in Black history tours throughout the island. And SecureBDA.com for all your property management, waste management, residential, and commercial trucking needs. Professional, punctual, and reliable service is our commitment to you.
All righty, welcome back. All right, folks, bringing Maya Palacio in for Daily Hour News Break. Don't forget, if you're streaming with us on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter X, or Instagram, give us a love, like, thumbs up, help us beat the algorithm. But also take the time today, about 10 minutes of your time, and do the survey. Fill out the survey. Just fill it out once. Let us know. Give us some feedback so that we can help you, help us, help the greater community, and how we guide talks, conversations on community topics. All right, let's bring Maya Palacio in for your Daily Hour News Break.
Good morning. Good morning.
Hey, what's happening, Maya?
Maya.
I'm doing well. How are you guys doing this morning?
Good.
I'm chilling. Mia's like putting together her resume to be the
Hey, here.
Yeah, Mia for mayor.
Hey, look, has a good ring to it. And I always think like my grandmother would be very proud. She was one of the first women business owners in Hamilton. Imagine if her granddaughter was the mayor.
Yeah, Mia for mayor. Yeah,
I got my.
You got the t-shirts made yet?
Pardon?
You got the t-shirts made yet?
Not yet. I got to get my PR team. So that's what I'm going to ask you and Maya and the Daily Hour team to be my PR team. Yeah.
Tell her, hey, look, Mia for mayor. Double it. Oh, don't be Mia for mayor. Yeah, I'm sorry. Things just went through my head. Yeah.
Don't think about it too hard.
Yeah. I'm like that. I need to. Like I told you all yesterday. I know what bus I was on. MP, do you think young people care about like the municipalities or know about them?
Oh, loaded question, but I have to say yes. I think more people would care if they knew more about it. Like that's the
Mhm,
one thing that I know we are always like lacking. We talk about that intergenerational connection, so that
mhm,
education that's not really flowing through to the next generation that we quote unquote should know. But
Hmm.
it always vexes me, and I say to him on the show, like, "Oh, the young people don't know this, or they don't know." It's like, well, who's supposed to be teaching us?
mhm,
You know,
mhm,
it takes it needs that pathway. Yes, I think more people should go out looking for these type of things, but I also think it should be taught, whether it's not just in the schools, but in the family, you know, at any sort of time that we get to actually come together, which we don't do enough of for how small we are as a country, as a, you know, as an island. We do not get together enough to like actually educate each other in spaces, which I thought like having the shade program and talking about it the other day was so vital. But even just in regular events that we do, we're not getting together enough. Like I go to the curb events when I'm home, and it's just not enough young people or enough people in general, even at those type of spaces, to learn about the history of Bermuda. So we are missing a lot of those connections that actually educate us.
I was just going to say something inappropriate. I'll probably say it anyway. But I guess, I mean, if you put a bar in certain places, you could get people anywhere. That seems to be the real, man. You could have a serious talk about something, put a bar there, they'll show up. You know, drink. First drinks free, and we're talking about this. It just seems that's the mindset of, and it's not generational. I think that's just cultural.
No,
Seriously.
that one's passed on, unfortunately. Yeah.
Yeah, you feel me? So, and
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be like, because got called out saying I'm disrespectful yesterday. But anyway, apologies to you, Dexter Smith. If you felt a certain way. I'm sorry, sidetracking real quickly, but I don't wake up to say let me disrespect people, but I would think that the editor of the Royal Gazette and the newspaper who writes things that people don't agree with most often would understand that. But my job here is not to make you feel good about yourself, is not to agree with you, not Maya, not Mia. It's to actually have discourse. And unfortunately, I have the mic, so I get to kind of have leverage over some of the commenters, but you can say what you want as well. Again, if I offend you, that's my sincerest apologies, but I still probably mean what I say and why I say it. Sorry, Maya, I just had to address that. I forgot I was going to apologize. I think that was a roundabout apology, but you get my point.
Alrighty. All right, let me hop into this newswave because yes, there is some things that need to be mentioned this morning. Two big stories for you right now, but good morning, everyone. This is your daily newsbreak brought to you by the good people at People's Pharmacy. We know what type of season it is. Make sure you head to them for anything that you need to prevent any colds or flus or sicknesses this season coming up as the weather starts to get chilly. And we're going to be mentioning a lot of different spells of weather. It's going to be warm, it's going to be hot, it's going to be rainy, it's going to be cold. It's going to be a mixture of things. All right, so yesterday, Wayne Keynes, who was a former MP and the president of BELCO, issued a call for action for members of the community to join a search for the missing teenager, 15-year-old Jador Wilson. Now, after the latest press conference is when this kind of sparked, as we brought it here from her mother at the Bermuda Police Service, who shared words about her daughter and how she felt about the community, wanting to bring things in and asking the government for help, and also about the police at large. So here's an image that did come courtesy of the Royal Gazette, but just to give you some more insight. So BELCO released a statement on behalf of Mr. Keynes saying a community search begins at 6 p.m. yesterday and will continue each night at the same time until she is found. In his statement, Mr. Keynes wrote, "Now is the time to show that Bermuda cares, that we will not rest until Jador is found safely and returned home." So Mr. Keynes said search efforts will continue that night and every night until 8 p.m. until she is found. Now, the meeting point yesterday was at the church on Parsons Road in Pembroke. But anyone interested in participating is encouraged to bring a flashlight and wear luminous vests or bright clothing. A safety briefing and key instructions will be provided each time before the search begins. Now, he closed with saying, together we can create a schedule of continuous community presence and search coverage in key areas to identify with the Bermuda Police Service and Jador's family.
Off topic real quickly. When I was looking at that picture when you first put up with the people gathering, I was like, that's Evening Light Church on Deepdale Parsons Road right there, right? And I was just, I always do that when you guys put stuff up, try to figure stuff out where it is. But on a serious note, You know what? Honestly, I'm happy to see this. Sometimes it takes one person to kind of really get people going and into it. And I think that goes back to the conversation we were just having of how you get people interested in stuff and how you bring them along. Someone heard the mothers cry and they decided to respond in that manner. I think most right-thinking people will continue to say they want to see this young lady found, whether or not they all have the time to actually help, find her and give it, their attention. And it is really everyone's individual business. But I think those who are able, I think it's appreciated for not just for the family, but the greater community to show that we still have a loving community that cares about one another.
Mm-hmm. Indeed, yes. So there should be another search party tonight. It starts, so 6 p.m. I don't have the exact date and time. If that was already released and someone knows, please drop it in the comments. But definitely keep an eye out for it, as there should be another tonight, as there has been no update from last night from the police officially, though. But just to keep your eyes on that. And if you are able to assist in the search in some manner, please do so. We also posted something on our Daily Hour socials that gives you some highlights, some timelines. You saw a little bit of the photos there on the screens that you could also go to, share it, and get the word out there more across the island as people continue their search for Jador Wilson. Now, we're going to turn it over to some pretty exciting news. We're talking sports right now, and we're talking FIFA and football, but not the men's this time. We're talking about the women. So the 2026 CONCACAF Women's Championship is upon us. It will serve as the Confederation's direct qualifiers for both the FIFA Women's World Cup, that's going to be in Brazil in 2027, and also the 2028 LA Summer Olympic Games. So it's a crucial path. So let's see where Team Bermuda kind of falls within this journey. Here we go. The Bermuda senior women's national team will kick off their road to the FIFA Women's World Cup 2027 in Brazil and the LA 2028 Olympics this November, after being drawn into Group C of the 2025-26 CONCACAF Women's Qualifiers alongside Costa Rica, Guatemala, Grenada, and Cayman Islands. Only the 6 group winners will advance to the 2026 CONCACAF Women's Championship, joining the region's top 2, USA and Canada, who've received byes. So the format spans the FIFA match windows in November, February, and April, with each team playing 2 at home and 2 away. Group C is headlined by top seed Costa Rica, with Guatemala seeded for part 1, Bermuda drawn for part 2, then Grenada, and then the Cayman Islands. So Bermuda are slated to open away to the Cayman Islands in November window before facing Guatemala, setting the tone for the group where every point matters. So some of the high points recently in the Bermuda women's team is their World Cup qualifying round back in 2023. So Bermuda led their League B group, headed into the final match day, including a 2-1 home win over the Dominican Republic with an extraordinary performance by Jaden Masters, and a forfeit award of 3-0 win versus St. Vincent and the Grenadines when the visitors couldn't travel to Bermuda. So they ultimately fell 2-0 away to the DR and then narrowly missed the playoffs. It was such a dramatic game, and I had an interview with Coach Nikita Robinson.
It's tough. The girls obviously got it. They knew that we would have a fight on our hands. And
so the standout performers, though, from the 2023 qualifying round were definitely Christopher with that hat trick versus the Cayman Islands in the 2022 World Cup qualifying, and Leilani Nesbitt, who has since gone pro as well in the league. So on paper, Costa Rica are strong favorites as they rank top in the group, but we're right up there in the mix and we rank above Grenada and the Cayman Islands. So the team has a very great chance of being seated somewhere in the top 2 finishes and possibly even taking this thing all together. So it's going to be a really exciting qualifying championship round. So why does this matter? Well, the 2026 CONCACAF Women's Championship for November of 2026 doubles as a direct qualification. The 4 semifinalists reach the 2027 World Cup. 2 more head to the Interconfederation playoffs, and the 2 finalists qualify for the LA 2028 Olympic Games. So these matches can go either way. Bermuda's seated pretty well in the top mid-section, and we could really take this all together. We've got a strong team. We've had some really great finishes last year and in the years leading up to this. So definitely eyes on these matches and Bermuda's women's football team.
Man, I'm excited. I think you know, this is the reality. This may offend some, but I think it will actually, it's probably easier for Bermuda's women to make the World Cup than the men. And I'll tell you why. Because of how the world works, not the same amount of FIFA nations don't invest in women like they do men. And so there's less women's teams, and the women's teams that exist, it all comes down to investment, right? So I think if Bermuda invests right and continues to build, we can actually see the women make it before the men. I mean, Olympics, I'll take that too. But I'm excited, man. I think they could do it.
It's a really good shot for this championship qualifier round right now for us. I mean, when it was 2023, whew, oh, we were so close and we had done so well. We were like undefeated, hadn't even had a loss yet. And so that was like their first loss against DR for like, what was it? Almost like 10 matches or something like that. It was very much like a good streak that they were on. And it was such a great team. And, you know, the players are grown. A lot of them are like in their peak hours right now. I think there's a couple injuries and some of them, but I'm hoping that they're doing well as before like the November window really kicks off and gets really deep into it, especially for in the next one. I think we have these first 2 games. I'm just gonna call it. I think we have these first games that we got, but then afterwards it's gonna be more of like, you know, putting up a challenge a bit more. But no, our girls is definitely like you said, I think Bermuda is one of the privileged for you as well to have someone like Coach Peter Robertson who has definitely developed women's football over the last 10, 15 years, really putting that plan into action to see the results that we have now in 2025. So it's looking like a very strong team. Yeah.
Yeah.
Will any of the games be in Bermuda? Will we be able to watch any of them?
Yeah, we get 2 at home and then 2 away for each teams that they're playing against. So yeah, we will get home games for sure.
Oh, amazing. I'll be going to those for sure. It's so exciting. I didn't know anything about that. That was awesome.
I was just going to say something that may have annoyed some of Trinidad and Jamaican and Curacao folks, but, you know, I'd rather visit the Cayman Islands and Costa Rica. So all of that to say, I'd rather support the ladies anyway. Yeah, I said it. I said it's all about the destination. I'm just saying.
All right, let's close up with our weather today. It's going to be some sunny spells, but interrupting with some passing showers. It's going to be, you know, like I said, the winds are going to be changing. The weather's going to be changing and shifting every single minute of the day almost. You got a high of 79 degrees, so make sure you head to Peoples as well. Prevent any sicknesses. So that's what you got for today.
Okay. What you got for us, Mia?
And today is Global Love Your Cat Day.
Oh, my goodness.
So I wanted to ask the audience, or if you're in the car listening to the radio, you can just yell. Are you a cat or a dog person? Do you prefer a cat or a dog or both? I love both. I love cats and dogs. Look at Jamal.
You can't be neutral. Dr. King warned us about people like you. You can't be neutral. You got to choose a side.
If I had to choose between a cat and a dog, I'd pick a dog. But what about you, audience? Are you a cat or a dog person? And Maya and Jamal?
Oh, you already know what I'm saying.
None.
Dog, Maya?
I am a dog person, but I gotta admit, I've loved a few cats over my years. But
yeah, me too.
Dogs just love so unconditionally. But I do appreciate cats because, I mean, they have standards.
They do. They do. Cats are kind of like women, kind of like, you know what I mean? They're kind of like do their own thing, which I like.
They can take care of themselves. You need to do anything with cats.
I've never met a cat that I like. Look.
They have standards.
No, standards. They're arrogant and they only care about themselves. Let me tell you, you all like me on this cat rant. I go on for a couple months. Teo and I went at it, and I won that argument. A cat. The house will be burning down. I'm gonna keep telling you all. The house will be burning down. That cat be looking at you like, stupid idiot. Don't even look. The house is burned down. You guys are gonna sit there. A dog's gonna bark at you like, come on. Let you, help you out. That's my problem with cats. They don't care about me.
You've been in a burning building with a cat to know that?
Yeah. How do you know, Jamal? Cats do save lives.
Rescue 911.
Cats have been known to save lives just as well as dogs have. They're intelligent.
I ain't questioning their intelligence. I'm questioning their arrogance. Goodness. I mean, I grew up around it. They be coming looking at me like, what you looking at? I was laying there earlier. Like, what is your problem, cat? I ain't said nothing to you.
You must have done something to the cat community. They know about you.
They do.
They probably, that's him right there. Let's go to the audience. Julie said dog. Great.
Nice.
Nicole Walker says dog. James Burton says, I lost my cat Ken a few years ago. Very sorry to hear that. Vanetta Outerbridge Ferbert says cat. Charles says neither. I'm a people person.
Dangerous, Charles.
I would rather feed a child. Stacey Ann Brown says, I like both, but if I had to get one, it would be a cat. Renee Simmons says, neither one. I like birds, parakeets. Okay. WKD Lama says cats are better. They are not so needy. And we've got Suzanne Ingham says, I love both, but I can't get too close to a cat. Dogs interact with the humans much more. Cats are lazy. Look, I'm gonna just leave it at this. A cat's a deciding factor in a relationship for me. You have a wonderful day.
Bye.
Bye, Maya.
Bye, folks. All right, folks, we're going to take a quick break. We've got Walker Zupp coming up. Very, very fun conversation, folks. Don't go anywhere. I wonder if Walker's a cat or dog person. We'll find out after this break. Stick with us.
Take a look at our workforce for construction workers and tradesmen. Durable, stretchable in all the right places, and plenty of options for tools and accessories. Paired with our wide range of tough and comfortable footwear, you can't go wrong. As you can see, Nautical House really is a one-stop shop for everybody. We can't wait to see you.
See it all at our new expanded location on Bakery Lane.
Discover Drop It, your go-to grocery delivery. Browse and select from a wide range of groceries, from fresh produce to daily essentials. Our friendly drivers deliver fresh groceries to your door fast, saving you time and hassle. With Drop It, you get fresh groceries delivered fast, so you can focus on what really matters. Drop It, freshness at your doorstep, delivered to your door with Lindo's. Why go anyplace else?
People's ACW, located at King Edward VII Memorial Hospital, carries over-the-counter medicines, toys, cards, and even toiletries. Our knowledgeable staff are there whether you're at emergency, visiting family, or a member of BHB staff, to show you our best even when you're feeling your worst. People's ACW, we're here for you.
At HSBC, how we do business in our community is as important to us as what we do for our community.
We are here at Hungry Bay with HSBC today. We're planting over 500 mangroves using 2 different methods. This work is very vital for our mangrove ecosystem and would not be possible without HSBC's generous support.
I am super happy that we have a team here of colleagues helping us replant some of the mangroves. Mangroves are critical for preserving coastal nature, and with recent hurricanes, they have been taken away by waves. By replanting them, we are really helping nature be at its best.
Thank you so much for HSBC for sponsoring the Microforest Project, but by extension, the Hungry Bay Restoration Project.
Thank you to all of the charities, corporate partners, and HSBC volunteers for your commitment to our community.
SCARS stands for Saving Children and Revealing Secrets, and we are a Bermuda nonprofit organization whose mission is to reduce the risk of child sexual abuse and to be an advocate and a voice for children who've been sexually molested, as well as their affected family. New media like the Daily Hour is really important in partnering with organizations like SCARS. It's another platform for us for awareness. There can be no radio silence as it relates to child sexual abuse, and we need as many initiatives as we can get. We need to keep this message alive. In terms of us and the work that we do, live engagement is good because it allows the audience to ask questions, to make comments, even to provide us with encouragement and support. what I love about the live engagement when Scars is being interviewed by Jamel is just this feeling of safety, this feeling that he gets it. He cares about children. It's a connection.
Alrighty, welcome back to the Big Show. Mia Chambray. I'm Jamel Hartman. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House Lenders, People's Pharmacy, and a big shout out to HSBC Bermuda for ensuring that we can pump through the radio areas with these most important community conversations. Folks, do not forget to subscribe on our website, thedailyhour.com, and follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. And folks, if you haven't already, Zena Trott, Vanetta Utterbridge Furbit, WKD Lama, James Burgess, Stacey Ann Brown, Nicole Walker, Jewel Eve. If you have not already, Rosalind Famous, Sean Smith, filled out our survey, please do us that favor. Go to our website, fill out our survey. Your participation is very much appreciated. All right, without further ado, we've got a very special guest for the day. Mia, let's take bets. Do you think Walker is a cat person or a dog person?
Dog.
Okay.
What do you think?
I'm gonna go with neither. Folks, let's give a warm TDH welcome. He's a Bermudian author, wrote a beautiful novel that we're going to be discussing. Give a warm welcome to Walker Zupp. Greetings, Walker. How are you?
Good. I'm all right. You talking trash about me before I come on?
You heard? I was like, don't talk about Walker like that. Yeah.
I like toads. I like toads personally.
Toads, okay.
I was right. No dogs or cats. So, but do you have pets though? Do you have pets?
No, I mean, my fiance and I love animals. We go to the donkey sanctuary a lot, but she's allergic to everything, so we can't actually own anything. So we may get some chickens.
Sounds like the perfect woman for you, Jamel.
No, find someone who's allergic to everything, right? Thank you, Walker.
I'll pass that on. I'll pass it on.
I like that. I like that. But first of all, thank you for your patience. Thank you for joining us for this conversation. We have greatly appreciate it. I know we had tried to have you on months ago. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Before we jump into the conversation, just give the audience a bit about your background, who you are, and what it is that you do.
Sure. I was born in Bermuda. I'm from St. George's, and I moved to the UK for school, and I sort of stuck around there. That's where I live now. I live down in Cornwall at the moment, and I'm a writer. I write novels. I started out as a poet, and I moved into fiction, and I've published 4 novels and 2 books of nonfiction. One of those was a book of literary criticism, and the other book was a sort of a book of philosophy, really, all about language. And yeah, I have a PhD in creative writing from the University of Exeter. Yeah, that's basically all you need to know about me, really.
Yeah. That's all his like, I'm stopping there. You don't need to know nothing else. Morocconomics. It's been described as bold and unconventional. What first sparked the idea for this story, and how did Bermuda, Britain, and Morocco become the triangle that drives it?
Well, I have to give credit to Montag Press, my publisher here, and my editor, and they've sort of subconsciously been pushing me towards writing about who I am, really, for a long time. And it wasn't until Morocconomics that I actually wrote about a Bermudian character. And basically, I wanted to write a book about family. And I always think the best films and books about family are mafia stories. The mafia is about family, essentially. And Morocconomics is set in the future in Morocco, and the Sicilian mafia have taken over the country, and they run it at a profit. And into this world walks a Bermudian real estate agent called Lou Baring, who's not the sharpest tool in the box, and he gets exploited by everyone. And it's sort of about Bermudians being unprepared for the wider world. But I was also interested in communism. There's a communist revolution that takes place in the book, and I'm interested in the hypocrisy of communists. With communist leaders become kings. When they killed the kings to get there to start with, that sort of thing. So yeah.
I just want to ask the audience real quick. Audience, What are some of your favorite novels, audience? What are some of your favorite novels? If you can let us know while we have the conversation. And also, if you have any questions or comments for Walker, please send them through as well. Go ahead, Mia. Sorry.
Oh, that's okay. Good morning, Walker.
Good
How are
morning.
you?
I'm very well.
Morning in Cornwall? Yeah, almost. Very. So your book tackles big themes like the diaspora, neo-colonialism, but wraps them in satire and action. How do you balance serious social commentary with humor and storytelling?
Well, I was reading the New York Times book review, and Ian McEwan was talking about his new novel, What We Can Know, which is a very similar book. And his ambition was to get the past and the present and the future in some kind of dialogue. And that's basically what I do in Morocconomics. I mean, you have to make social commentary entertaining. One of my favorite Bermudian novels is by Brian Berlin. It's called Surprise, and it's from 1973, and it's about a Bermudian slave who escapes to the Caribbean and starts his own country. It's basically an adventure novel, like a Hornblower novel or or Master and Commander, something like that. But it's really sad and it's thought-provoking. And Morocconomics is basically a crime action novel, but it's actually about ideas in the same way that Black Mirror is about ideas.
Right.
Yeah, but yeah, a lot of the comedy comes from Lou stumbling around, but it's also sad at the same time.
The novel explores the search for identity and belonging across cultures. How much of that theme is rooted in your own experience as a Bermudian navigating global influences?
Greatly. I mean, culture's nice, right? And I was raised to appreciate all cultures, regardless of my background. But I see culture as something telling me what to do, and I hate being told what to do, as my life demonstrates. I take a more simple line from James Baldwin, the American writer. He says, the world is held together by the love of very few people. And love to me is more important than culture. And Morocconomics is about the absence of love and the presence of money. A little money is great, but a lot of money can make you weird.
True. Preach. Oh my gosh, Walker, you're like, before you came out, I said, Walker Zupp. That's a real rock star name. Not for like, it's a real rebel St. George's boy name. I love it. Great. There's a strong historical undercurrent in your writing. How did researching the colonial and post-colonial ties between Bermuda and other nations shape the narrative?
Well, I think, you had Jonathan Howes on, the CEO of Bermuda Press Holdings, a while ago, and he was saying that any country struggles without a free press. And I'd argue that any country struggles without a free literature where people can write whatever they want. And I'm stubborn, it's like I have to go backwards. I read about the other world as the rest of the world, and that takes me back to Bermuda. So reading about Morocco made me think about Bermuda. And writers cannot hide what they're interested in. If they think they can, they're stupid. It's about Morocconomics is about economic, cultural, racial prejudice. It's about corporate exploitation. It's about getting yourself to a point where you're in so deep with huge companies that an alternative to that life is impossible. And it's about selling parts of your country to other countries who don't care about you but want to use you. So yeah, it's made me appreciate my own history as a Bermudian. And I've written another book about the recent election in Bermuda, which made me do a deep dive on Bermudian history. The books by W.S. Zuhl and Walton Brown Jr. and Jonathan Land and Keto Swan, all sorts of stuff. So I'm grateful to a country I've never been to for teaching me about my own.
Absolutely. Walker, readers have called Morocconomics both entertaining and unsettling. What reactions were you hoping to provoke, and what conversations do you want the book to spark here in Bermuda?
I mean, I think for Bermuda, it's, are Bermudian children prepared for the world? Should the corporate world be the only world? And is it possible to have a healthy political discourse? Looking around the world at the moment, it seems pretty unlikely. But I think people like yourselves at the Daily Hour, Royal Gazette, Trevor Lindsay, there's so many, Bermuda Youth Connect, there's so many, I don't even want to say smaller actors because that's insulting, but alternative actors who are keeping that healthy political discourse alive. And I think it's great, you know. So yeah, those are sort of the conversations I want to spark. I always want people to think about, is my life good enough? You know, I don't like settling for anything less than. I don't take myself too seriously, but at the same time, I know that I'm good at certain things and I can always do a little bit better, probably. And you know, again, a little money's a good thing, but a lot can make you weird. And personally, I just want enough so that I can continue writing. In the same way that Brian Berlin and Llewellyn Emery and Angela Barry have written books on and off over the years. Yeah.
You mentioned just now, I don't want that to get lost as well. Obviously, we're here to talk Morocconomics, but you mentioned you have a new book based on the most recent election, which you took a deep dive. Can you speak to us a bit about how you got inspired to actually take on a new book? Like, what inspires you to take on a new book and different titles and subjects?
I think curiosity. I'm a very curious person. My intention is never to demean or denigrate anyone. It's always to, you know, look for something approaching the truth. I don't like the word truth. I mean, beyond biology and stuff, but especially when you talk about politics. But it's looking for patterns. I like looking for patterns. And I mean, the Bermuda election book, which I'm trying to get published at the moment, I think it's going to happen. But you know, I wanted to look for patterns about Bermuda as a country that would help younger Bermudians understand it better. Because it seems that whenever we go into an election, it's like we're learning about who we are all over again. And that gets really boring after the third election or so. You know, the same mistakes over and over again.
No, I love this, man. I'm excited to support you. I'm going to be very honest, and your books. I did ask the audience who was saying some of their favorite novels and the like, and Mark Arthur C. Phillips said Redeeming Love by Francine Rivers. We've got books by James Patterson, said Michelle Dawes. We've got books by Josh Grisham, said Simmons. We've got Zena Trott, says To Kill a Mockingbird, anything by Toni Morrison. When you hear some of these authors and the books, for someone who's never read yours, what would you say to these folks who read those kind of books? What they like, the difference in terms of the stories they will read from you?
Well, I won't look for the differences. I'll look for the similarities, actually. I think Toni Morrison's a great example. I love Toni Morrison because she writes weird books, really weird books, but people love them. If Oprah loves your book, then there's something, there's something cross-cultural, everything about it. And I would say I'm a very similar writer to her. We're essentially fairly odd people, but we write about topics in a way that I think touches, you know, people who read it. And that's I think that's a great strength. I mean, in terms of differences, I am not a popular author like James Patterson. Not yet. And I don't want to be like James Patterson. I don't think he's that good, actually. So,
wow.
Yeah, he's a very good businessman. But I'd rather be a good writer than a good businessman. No offense, James. And he also doesn't write a lot of his books. He gets someone to ghostwrite it for him. So yeah, that's what I think about that.
I love that. I love that transparency, honest opinion. We've got a question from Mark Arthur C. Phillips. He's asking, do you think any of your books would make a good movie or TV series?
Absolutely. I think Morocconomics is a great contender, but my debut novel, which came out in 2019, is called Martha. And that's also a great one because it was really written at a time when identity politics was taking off, particularly in the UK, and it was written from the belly of the beast. And a whole section of that book, there are a couple stories in it, but one of the sections is about a British prime minister who has a sex change to win an election, which I don't think is that far-fetched, frankly. And it was all about, conservative political parties taking advantage of left-wing causes to bolster their own popularity. It's about populism, essentially. So that would make a great series. And it's also very, very funny. It's just nuts. Yeah, so those two.
We've got a couple of questions. We've got Rashida Godwin asking, have you read Chained on the Rock, Slavery in Bermuda by Cyril Utterbridge Packwood?
Sure. I've not read that book. I've read a very good book not about Bermuda, but about the transatlantic slave trade in general, called Transformations in Slavery by a guy called Ray Lovejoy, who's a scholar on the subject. But I've not read Packwood's book. It's definitely on my list.
All right. We've got Renee Simmons is asking, so will the Bermuda election book be based on a fictional novel, a specific character?
No, the Bermuda election book is a nonfiction book. So it's basically a study. It's like an A to Z of the 2025 Bermuda election, but with a lot of it's constantly saying, okay, well, what this happened in 2025. What happened in the past that was a bit like that? So it's constantly going back and forth, sometimes all the way back to the 1600s, when we had the first governors in Bermuda. So it's trying to, again, it's looking for patterns. It's a very short book. It's ideally, you could read it in a day or two. I mean, it was designed that way, and it's just packed with stuff. And I'm quite excited about it.
We've got Suzanne Ingham says, what are the names of your books? I always like the classics, the Bubsy Twins and the Hardy Boys.
The names of my books. So my first novel is called Martha. The second one was called Nakadai, and I'm going to write that because people always struggle to spell it. The third book was called Fibber, which was the strangest book. Fibber is basically about chaos and is largely about Boris Johnson's reign in the UK. And the latest book is Morocconomics.
All right, so that's Nakadai on the screen right there, folks, if you're looking for the spelling of that book. We have another question. I think James Burgess is asking, are there digital versions of your books?
Absolutely. Yes, they're all available on Kindle, I believe. Yes.
All right. And we have Mark Arthur C. Phillips asking, as an author, is it better to release your book independently or with a publisher in the 21st century?
Hoo-wee, that's a question. When I go to open mic, I went to an open mic a while ago, and I was talking to a very nice writer of romantic fiction. I don't read romantic fiction, but me and her got on very well, and we were talking about the industry, and she was saying that she's a very well published author. She's got a big publisher, much bigger than mine, and I asked her if she was thinking about moving into self-publishing because she's got a market, she's got an audience. She's got a name, and that's all you need these days. And so she could easily move into self-publishing if she wanted to. And she was umming and ahhing a bit because I know another writer of romantic fiction who's the queen of Cornish crime, apparently, who does that. And she's making tons of money. But you have to have that audience. And let me get this clear. Most authors don't make a lot of money. I've made a total of $400 from my books since 2019. Okay. So I don't do it for the money. I would love to make money from my books, but I'm just not at that position in my life, and that's hopefully going to be the next chapter. Making a bit more money from it. But yeah, I would say personally, avoid self-publishing because you have to do all the work. I self-published a novel called Jiggery Pokery, which is terrible, and you know why? Because I wasn't patient and I rushed it. And I thought that it needed to get out. No, it doesn't, Walker. I was like mid-20s when I did that book, and I wish to God I just held on to it and gone the normal route because it's stuck there now. It's stuck on Amazon. I can't wipe it. I don't include it in my CV because it's an embarrassment, but it's stuck there forever. So always, and certainly for Bermudians, like self-publishing because it's easier, I think, but always look for an agent, always look for a publisher. Send it out, be ambitious.
Indeed. Walker, what's next? And how do you see literature, especially from small islands like Bermuda, contributing to global discussions about power, race, and identity?
Well, what's next for me? I'm writing so there's a German myth called Faust, which is all about a man who makes a deal with the devil. And I've just finished a second draft of Faust in Bermuda. And it's basically the idea that the devil's been guiding Bermuda's progress since the Deliverance crashed, which I thought was sort of fun idea, but also very poignant, because we've got a lot of dark things in our past. So that is a huge time span, but I'm still working on that book. And then there's the election book as well. And so, I really love Bermudian novels and Bermudian literature. I love it. I love Brian Berlin. I didn't like Angela Barry's book Drowned Forest as much, but I admired it. You know, I can still appreciate its merit. And Llewellyn Emery's books are very good. I mean, it's always a case of how do you get these things read by a wider audience? And I mean, the internet's great for that. I think we really should start a Bermuda authors page on Facebook or something. I know. You know.
Yes.
And so it's always about getting people to read it who aren't Bermudians, and they absolutely should be read by people who aren't Bermudians because they're great. It's better than most of the crap I read. You know.
Walker, I have an idea. I was thinking this whole time while you've been talking and saying names of books and Bermudian authors, most of which I haven't heard from. Can you make a list of your top 10 Bermudian authors and books that you'd recommend? And maybe we could put it up for the Daily Hour? Because I would love to know, like, I would love to get your top 10 most readable Bermudian authors and books.
Yeah. Well, what I will say right now, because this is easy, I think a lot of them are available in the Bermuda National Library.
Oh, okay, great.
Because a lot of my books are available there, which I'm very proud of. And I'm sure Angela Barry's book must be in there because she won the Bermuda. She got top prize for fiction at the Bermuda Literary Awards a couple years ago. So yeah, go use your public libraries. Don't use Amazon. Amazon's great, but you know, you can get it for free at the National Library. Even better.
Yeah, even better.
One last question from the audience. Michael Daniels asking, as a writer, is it more adventurous for you to be in England?
No, it's more depressing. No, it's like the only reason I mean my fiance is from Yorkshire, so there's no way in hell we're ever going to leave the UK again. So I'm stuck there. I love her very much, but we're not going to move anywhere. I live in England because it's cheaper. I can't afford to live in Bermuda. Ellie's a fine artist. You know, together we don't make enough money to live in Bermuda, which brings us back to that question of, you know, do we need another world beyond the corporate world? There are so many wonderful artists in Bermuda. And as far as I can see, it's hard to get funding. I know we have good funding opportunities. I applied for some to write the election book, but I didn't get it. But that's another story. Yeah. So I find it difficult to find people who like my voice in England. As a Bermudian, as a person with this accent who isn't American or Canadian. Well, what are you then? Well, I'm Bermudian. Well, why do you speak like an American? I don't know. It just happened. You know, why do you sound like you've got something missing in your mouth? But I've had a lot of success in Devon with the open mics there. And I would suggest that any Bermudian writer over there who wants to do an open mic and meet writers and stuff like that, go to Devon and go to the Exeter Phoenix, go to the Budleigh Salterton Literary Festival. I was there this year. They're really nice people and they're open. You know, they don't ask you where you're from. They just go, ooh, that's an interesting book, or that was a great poem, or, you know, whatever. So yeah, I mean, the literary world is much deeper in the UK, but it's harder to get into. And I feel like I'm sort of on the outside, but that will come in time.
Well, how can people keep in touch with you to see what you got going on, how they can support you? What's the best way to stay connected with you?
I'm on Facebook. I'm friends with lots of authors and non-authors. You know, I'm always interested. I always reach out to people whose books I like. You know, I've befriended people at Bermuda Society. You know, if you're in the UK, join that. You know, because we have great events, and it would be great to me to talk to someone who's not a law student or an actuary. You know, give me some variety. They're very nice, but you know, I'm technically on Instagram, but I don't use it much. So Facebook's the best. And I have an Amazon author page. You can see all the stuff I've done there. And I'm also on the Bermuda Creatives page, along with a lot of other great creative people in Bermuda. So yeah, just Google me.
Walker, thank you so much. And when I'd love to have you back to speak specifically about the politics book as well. So let's look forward to having you back, maybe on the anniversary of the most recent general election in February. But thank you so much for sharing this with us. And I think one of the things people forget about the Daily Hour is it's more than just, you know, current events, but to celebrate fellow Bermudians. And I think when we have people like yourself, authors, we need to celebrate you and support you. So thank you for sharing your gift with us, and look forward to having the further discussions with you going forward.
Yeah, well, thank you very much. You're doing God's work.
Thank you so much, bro. We'll be in touch. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. Walker's up. If you appreciated that conversation, yes. Suzanne says, yes, please come back, Walker. Interesting. Yes, we look forward to it. I love conversations like that, folks. But if you appreciate it, that conversation with Walker, whether you're streaming on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter X, or Instagram, please give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. Make sure that you share this conversation with your friends, your family, your colleagues. We're going to take a quick break and we'll be back. Let's see if you all get this daily play. Stick with us.
Considering the increasing challenges faced by financial institutions, the need for insurance protection is a critical component of the risk management framework. At FriesenBrook, our priority is to safeguard your assets with the most optimal, cost-effective risk management cover to help protect your business, whether it be cyber, directors and officer liability, professional indemnity, or property insurance. Call us on 296-3600 to learn more about our full suite of competitive corporate insurance products. At FriesenBrook, we provide insurance you can count on.
Dreaming of expanding your business? With BDC's Loan Guarantee Program, we support your ambitions. Get up to 75% guarantee on bank or credit union loans up to $300,000. Just your vision and our support. Apply today and unlock new business opportunities. BDC. Bermuda business starts here.
For over 70 years, Bermuda Pest Control has been protecting homes and businesses island-wide. We offer a full suite of services, including rodent control, termite fumigation, and general insect control and maintenance. Our team of experts will quickly and efficiently eliminate any pest problem you may have. With Bermuda Pest Control, you can enjoy a pest-free home in no time. We're committed to providing fast, reliable, and solution-driven services for our customers. It's what we've been doing since 1952. Call Bermuda Pest Control today and say goodbye to pests for good.
Looking for the best care for your pets? Novazark Feed and Supply has everything you need, from top quality foods to toys and supplies. We've got it all. Join our frequent buyer program and earn rewards every time you shop. Plus, we've been awarded the Clever Customer Initiative program for helping you save more. And don't forget, we open an hour early on Saturdays so you can get a head start on your pet care. Visit us today or shop online for easy pickup or delivery. Your pets will thank you.
PALS is a cancer care charity. We started 45 years ago. What started as a charity with a half-time nurse, and basically just assisting patients going home from the hospital, but patients dying at home. We now, 45 years later, have 6 nurses, a social worker, and a palliative care physician. I know a lot of people that watch the Daily Hour every day, so it's just educational. It helps you know more about specific charities or specific organizations, and kind of get the nitty gritty as opposed to just seeing a flyer on social media or just hearing or seeing a commercial. I think it's more beneficial. Like if I'm on the radio or on TV, I'm just like telling you what I think you want to know, but you might have specific questions that I can answer directly. I think it's much better having the live engagement.
All righty, welcome back to the Big Show. Thanks again to Walker Zupp, Bermudian author, for stopping by this morning. Again, folks, give us that big favor. If you're tuned in on a stream, give us a like, love, follow, share the link with your friends, your family, your colleagues. Big thank you to the BAC group of companies, Medical House Lenders, People's Pharmacy, and a big shout out to HSBC Bermuda for ensuring that we can pump through the radio airwaves with these most important community conversations on a regular basis. Folks, it is time for the Daily Play, brought to you by Bermuda Trivia, now available at stores throughout Bermuda. Follow Bermuda Trivia on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, X, and TikTok to find out why it's Bermuda's Trivia game. All right, it's a Name That Place, Mia.
Okay.
All right, audience, are you ready? Mia, are you ready? Here we go.
Okay.
What U.S. city is considered the birthplace of jazz?
New Orleans?
Yeah, baby. Yeah.
One of my favorite cities.
Yeah. No, see,
I love NOLA.
while I have a great appreciation for music, when I think of New Orleans, all I think about is that food. And if
Oh,
I go there, I mean, come on, man, those po' boys,
just every single thing.
everything. It's
Yeah.
impossible to eat healthy living there with the
No,
options they have.
I know.
Between New Orleans and Charleston, South Carolina, the best two culinary experiences I've had in the United States.
Wow, I've never been to Charleston.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, New Orleans number one though.
Yeah, New Orleans is number one. And the hospitality, the culture, the
Yeah,
music.
yeah, it's
I don't know.
different.
Everything about it. I love New Orleans when I went.
Yeah, that was actually the last trip I took with my mom to New Orleans. Yeah, 2018. Mark Arthur C. Phillips got it, New Orleans. We got NO, which I believe is New Orleans, says Suzanne. Not Detroit. That was Motown. That was Motown. And Anika Shields says no. Let's wrap it up. We've got to let people go. So, final thoughts on discussion about Corporation of Hamilton, and then obviously the conversation with Walker.
So final thoughts is I think we were discussing yes or no. Do we think we should eliminate the electoral process for the city of Hamilton? I think no. I think we do. It's really important to keep the electoral process, to keep people's skin in the game, to have people's voices be heard. Should we open it up to all of the Bermudian public, not just people who own or run businesses in the city of Hamilton or live in the city of Hamilton? That's a great point. I love that by Kenton. I thought that was a great point for today. So maybe that needs to be looked at, but I do think it's very important to keep people who are elected as part of the city of Hamilton as representatives. In regards to Walker Zupp, I'm excited. I want to buy all of his books. I'm going to buy all of his books. And even if I don't read them all within the next little while, I definitely want to support him. He was such an interesting character and author. I loved his vibe. Jamal, I feel like you and him would be really good friends. I loved his vibe. I thought he was great. I thought he was so interesting. I'm really looking forward to his top 10 list of Bermudian authors and books we should read for 2026. Mm-hmm. And I'm really looking forward to reading Morocconomics.
Yeah, indeed. As far as the municipalities go, I understand why there's a need to, get rid of it per se in its current form. Like, Bermuda's very small, but I also think, as it is right now, it prevents government from handling additional funds. I think I need to understand a bit more why the government is so focused on doing it to come to a conclusion as to what I believe might be best for Bermuda. But at the end of the day, government's going to do what they want to do. And so it's not much we as the public can do at this point. Or is there? Right. As far as Walker, I'm just grateful that there's another talented Bermudian sharing their talent with others. And, I've only become a reader over the last 15 years per se or more. And so I am encouraged to see, his work and read his work. And I encourage other Bermudians to support him and may others be inspired to take this same path. Because again, Mia said it. I'm in agreement with him. Like, IB and actuaries and all this stuff and lawyers, like everyone's not going to be that. And other Bermudians who have talents and skills need to be inspired and supported and encouraged. Mia, do you have any daily inspiration for us?
I do. It's a quote that I don't know if you're going to love, but it's a little quote about our friend the cat. Perhaps one reason we are fascinated by cats is because such a small animal can contain so much independence, dignity, and freedom of spirit.
Mm-hmm. I like cats, like lions. I like lions.
Okay.
Yeah. I like that. Not those little domestic things. No. I don't like them. No. I guess that's a good one. Yeah. And you all keep saying they're independent. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But where they sleep. Exactly. They're independent. They can't use the bathroom and flush. Whatever. They still need people. They're just more independent than dogs. But like I said to Teo, The house is burning down. Who you gonna trust? There you go. All right,
Well,
folks. Don't forget to subscribe on our website, thedailyhour.com. Folks, get the survey done. Get the survey done. Anika De Shields, Renee Simmons, every last person, Michael Daniels. Go on our website, do the survey as soon as possible. We're going to start giving away prizes when we return next week. There will be no show tomorrow. There will be no show on Monday. We'll be back on Tuesday. All right. Let me repeat that. There will be no live show tomorrow. There will be no live show on Monday. All right. All right. So don't forget, in the meantime, subscribe on our website, thedailyhour.com. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. Thanks again to our partners, the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House Lenders, People's Pharmacy, and a big shout out to HSBC Bermuda for ensuring that we can pump through the radio areas with you with these most important community conversations. As always, we appreciate you, we love you, and we thank you for making us part of your daily routine. If all goes well, we'll be back to do this again with you next Tuesday. She's Mia Chambray. I'm Jamel Hartman. Please do make it a safe and a great day. We are out. Peace.